Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dylan Knostman, and I have the pleasure to be joined here by Octagon light heavyweight title challenger Will fucking Fleury, fighting this
Oh,
Sunday versus Karlos Vemola at Octagon 65. How are you doing today, man? How are you feeling?
yeah, all good. Starting to wake up now and starting to feel the low calories and whatnot. But life's good generally, so fuck it.
That's good to hear. I'm glad to hear it. So, obviously, it's fight week. I would ask if you're ready to face Karlos, but I feel like you've been ready for months and months and months at this point. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, years to be honest.
Yeah.
All I've needed was this opportunity, and thank fuck I'm finally getting the chance now, man. So just really looking forward to getting in there and doing the business.
Absolutely. So, obviously, you said you've looking forward to this for years. Vemo is a longtime star of Octagon. You're, newer to the promotion within the
Yeah,
last year or so. Is this a fight that you've had your eye on since prior to Octagon, prior to anything, or is this kind of something you've developed as
yeah.
of late?
Given the history,
Hmm.
and like, look, when I kind of lost that PFL contract, Octagon was the next logical step. They're doing
Hmm.
some of the biggest shows in Europe, so yeah, like as soon as it became Octagon, it was Carlos was the target, and now I'm getting that fight. And yeah, it's very like it's weird. Like this year has kind of played out really well in the
Hmm.
sense of like it's the final fight of the year. It's like I wanted to get all that done by the end of the year, be champion by the end of the year. So everything feels like it's falling into place beautifully, thankfully.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just taking those steps up the ladder, and now you're finally here at the top, ready
Yeah,
to challenge for that throne. So, it's fair to say you've gotten probably the most fanfare of your career with Octagon. As you
yeah.
mentioned, you came from PFL, you fought with Bellator before. Talk to me a bit about Octagon, just fighting for them and how they're kind of dominating the European scene, and how it's become home for you.
I tell you, like what I've noticed is it's just like they're doing all the things you should do as a promotion.
Hmm.
So like they're building a narrative around every fight. So every fight has a story.
Hmm.
And people can buy into that. And like as a fan, like even as a fan, like sure, look, I watch fights, like I'm a fan of the
Yeah,
sport. But like
100%.
it's there's a drama, there's a fucking it feels like there's something that matters about every fight. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And they build a story, like, they give you the character of the guy who's
Yeah,
fighting, if you know what I mean, or they give you a sample of the character of the guy who's fighting. So you're somewhat emotionally invested. Like
yeah.
even before I actually fought with them, like I cornered a guy, Paul Byrne, years ago
Hmm.
in Prague. And I remember that night, I was just like, geez, it's a really good atmosphere at these events. And it's a really
Hmm.
good, the event is pretty fucking class. That was an open air tennis stadium. So it was just a
Yeah,
special venue. It felt really
yeah.
cool being there. And then earlier this year, they flew me out to Ostrava.
Hmm.
And it was myself and the young lad, Derek Kelly, who's with Bellator and he's undefeated. With
Hmm. Yep.
Bellator, he's doing really
Oh,
well,
yeah.
all that. But the two of us were like blown away by the actual event. So there was like 12,000. There was like big hockey,
Hmm.
stadium. Fucking unbelievable atmosphere. But also before every fight, there's a little video that comes up, and you get a bit like because I wouldn't really know many of the guys on the
Yeah.
card.
Hmm.
And when it starts playing, you're kind of like, oh, you want this lad to win, or you want
Yeah.
that lad to win, and it's just actually more crack to be at the fights.
Hmm.
Like it was a good,
100%.
like I could have told you maybe three or four of the lads on the card before that, but I was like, I knew a shitload of guys going home,
Hmm.
and I enjoyed the event. So
Yeah.
I think they're doing that sort of thing really well. And then obviously, look, my last fight was in the stadium in Frankfurt. It was an
I mean,
unbelievable
incredible
event.
stuff. Hmm.
Yeah, it was fucking cool. Like it was like, being part of something like that's obviously different to being a fan there. But it was amazing to be part of it. And even you see the amount of effort, like when I showed up at the stadium, straight away you can feel the amount of effort that's gone into it.
Hmm.
So the fact that they're putting in that level of effort makes you want to be like, right, these lads are doing the business. I want to go fucking do the business now as well. So
Yeah.
they're doing their job. Time for you to do your job. And so far, man, I've done my fucking job pretty damn well. So, I plan on
100%.
keeping it going that way. So,
Well,
yeah,
I feel like there's so much emphasis on like you said, the stadiums, the atmosphere for the fighters, for the fans, and so many promotions are maybe favoring, TV contracts, other things like the UFC Apex, for example, or you see what the PFL is doing, and I think Octagon's kind of gone back to that like gladiator style, make this a true, honor these warriors in the ring, or in the cage, and really,
I tell you what's
out
interesting as well is like there's a different culture there. They've
Mhm.
created a different vibe to the whole thing. They're like, look, I fought Bellator, I fought with the PFL, I fought in America, I fought in Ireland.
Mhm.
We have like, like ultimately like Ireland has kind of adopted the American culture towards the sport where it's like,
Yeah.
you're a star, you're whatever, or you're a loser, you're nothing, you're nobody, you're a bum.
Mhm.
Whereas there it's like you're a warrior if you fight.
Yeah.
And even the guys who lose, like so say like Carlos, he lost the fight fucking this time last year. They
Mhm.
don't give a fuck. Well, not that
No.
they don't give a fuck, but like it's less of a big thing. It's like he shows up, he fights, he's a man, you know, and like they respect the warrior spirit,
Hmm.
if you know what I mean. Now, in a way,
Absolutely.
it's kind of like, well, yeah, respect the skill set too, because, but they, yeah, they're different. They're different culture, and even like being at the events, there's
Hmm.
way more like families and kids, and like it's fucking nicer to be at. To be honest, it's a more,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a better experience as a fan,
Hmm.
and like even as a fighter, it's a better experience because you can feel that culture. Like you feel that when you're at the events afterwards. Like know,
Yeah,
oh, it's
absolutely.
cool. It's well done.
100%. It's awesome to hear. So, you mentioned you fought for PFL, you fought for Bellator. Obviously, this isn't relating to your fight, but I would like your opinion on kind of what's going on with the Bellator fighters and PFL, and kind of obviously Patricio Pitbull's very outspoken. He's not getting fights. Patchy Mix, what's kind of your just perspective of a guy who's
Yeah.
been with that organization and the acquisition and all that stuff?
Look, like it seems like it's going to be hard for them to generate any significant amount of money. With
Yeah,
some of the deals that they like. Again, I'm not privy to all the information here, but
100%. Yeah.
sorry. But like, I'm not 100%, privy to everything that's happening with that. But yeah, like, it's very sad to see guys who aren't getting, they're in the peak of their career, especially
Hmm.
the likes of Patchy Mix and AJ McKee and guys
Yeah.
like this. Fucking amazing fighters and not
Hmm.
getting the opportunities they deserve in the middle of their career. And like, you're missing out on some serious talent. Like
Yeah.
as a fan, that's what look, I'm looking
Yeah.
at that those
100%.
guys like a fan and
Hmm.
saying like, shit, we could be getting so much more out of these. And it's definitely like, I don't think the sport's in that unhealthy a place that you can't make money out of guys like these. You
Yeah.
can. It's
Exactly.
just like
100%.
they haven't secured the deals that they need to broadcast the thing in the way that they need to. So people are saying like, oh well, like they paid above market value for certain guys, whatever. No, you just haven't created the market
Yeah.
and you haven't
And again,
invested promotionally in creating that market. And like that's a lot of the issue there. So like I think like the groundwork wasn't really done before they took on all these liabilities. And
hmm,
they haven't made like these guys are, sorry, I say liabilities. These guys are assets.
yeah,
But you need to
100%.
promote it the right way.
Yeah.
And like you're paying out a lot of money to these guys, and now you're saying, oh, we're not generating the money, so we can't pay out the money. It's like, no. First step, start generating the money, you know.
Yeah.
And they
Hmm.
never did that in my eyes.
Yeah.
Like, look, I would see that as a problem. And look, it's a similar thing with the GFL. Like they've signed a lot of guys, they've offered a lot of big contracts. Like I got offered a lot of money by the GFL, and I was just thought
Hmm.
like, whoa,
Yeah.
this
We'll
doesn't look
see.
like it's sustainable.
Yeah.
So like it's sad to see because like more competition is better for everyone, especially
100%.
as a fighter. But you see what's happening at the moment. You're kind of saying like it looks like the number 2 and number 3 guys have amalgamated and are about to fall. So that's not good for the market at all.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's fucking sad,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And like I don't want I fought with the PFL, I fought with Bellator. Like neither of them were particularly good to me as a fighter. Like they paid well, in
Yeah.
fairness, but like in the way I feel like I got treated by those promotions wasn't particularly good.
Hmm.
Um, but at the same time, I don't want to see them failing. I
Yeah.
would love if they were doing well and were healthy, and like it would be better overall as a fighter to see that.
Yeah. We need promotions pushing each other as opposed to
Yeah,
stamping each other down, pushing for the
big
better
time.
progress of the sport. But
Well, even like competition is good for everyone.
mhm, exactly.
So,
Yeah. Absolutely. So, you're, I think, the only, at least notable Irish light heavyweight that I know of. I'd say you're kind of carrying the flag of the Irish giants, to some extent. Obviously, you have, people in your gym and stuff, but is it
Carl
difficult to
Moore fought
find?
for the Bellator title just a couple like about
Sorry,
six
my
or
apologies. Yes, my
yeah.
apologies. Okay,
So
you
just because Carl's a fucking mate of mine, so I
yes,
can
yeah, no, Carl's the man. My
yeah.
apologies. But anyways, aside from you two, there's not many big guys coming out of Ireland, I
No,
should say. So,
no.
is it a challenge to find training partners? Obviously, I know you're at SBG Ireland. I'd love to hear about your experiences there. And you got Johnny Walker, other guys that weight class.
It's been trying like over the years. It's been tough to find bigger guys.
Hmm.
For a while, it was me, Carl, and Johnny here
Yeah.
in Dublin, and that was fucking amazing. So we had like a kind of 3-4 year period there where there was 3 of us down and around.
Hmm.
Just the last couple of months, Johnny obviously like having had a couple of losses and he had a couple of injuries and stuff, and then he went off to Thailand and now he's gone off to Vegas, so he
Hmm.
hasn't been around as much, and Carl hasn't been around as much since the Corey Anderson fight.
Hmm.
Um, so it's been challenging. So I went off to Vegas for like my camp right after Carl, fought for the title, and like for the Daniel Ford fight, I went off to Extreme Couture. And then the last fight with Langer, I was over in Birmingham in Renegade for a little while
Okay.
with Fabian Edwards, Matty Byfield.
Mm-hmm.
So went over, trained there. Just like good level big lads. And like Tom Breeze was out there as well. He's very good. Really good atmosphere there as well. And then this camp, just because I've had guys who are quite similar to Karlos, the guy Kieran Smullen that I train with at home, only an amateur guy, but very like high level hands, high level jiu-jitsu, everything. So like as a big guy, he's probably, been the best training partner I've had for this camp. But in general, it's quite tough to find lads who are at a decent level who are this size. There's not many of us, to be honest, and even worldwide. I've gone to other gyms around the world and you're like, shit, there's just not enough big guys in general in the sport. Like, look, if you're a fucking big guy and you're very good at something, you're probably going to make more money doing another sport, if you know what I mean. So
You don't get the best
I get it.
athletes
I
all the time.
understand why this is the case.
Yeah. I mean, again, my gym here in Arizona in the U.S., we have maybe 4 or 5 big guys, and we're considered one of the better areas for big guys to come train just because you have a rotation of 4 or 5 big bodies. Like, yeah, exactly. It's like
if you have one other, you're doing well.
Pretty much. Yeah, absolutely. So obviously this Sunday, you're going to the Czech Republic. It's going to be versus Karlos Vemola. Obviously your plan, I'm sure, knock him out early. Say that goes to plan. What's next for Will Fleury in 2025? Do you look to, do you have any other names? Do you have, looking to defend the belt, obviously?
So look, here's the thing. There's a lot of options. So first things first, put yourself in that position. So get in there, knock Karlos out, do the business, be emphatic. But afterwards, like the way I'm looking at it, they have this middleweight tournament going on next year, the Game Changer. That's a chance to significantly improve your financial suit. Like, if I'm ever going to fucking own a house in Ireland, man, you're going to need to make significant money. The property market here is mental.
Yeah.
So the opportunity to do that would be big for me. But if they let me, because it's a thing now of like, I'm the champion of the light heavyweight division. You don't want to be clogging up the division. If they don't, there's some big fights. I see that the heavyweight belt has just been stripped out of that guy Moel. Like, honestly, I feel like I could go up to heavyweight and be okay with it.
Well, especially considering Lasdar Toda, who's the #1 contender, he's on the smaller end for heavyweight to begin with. I think that's a very doable fight for
I'm like, well, look, we're not massively different to each other as athletes. We can fight for that title.
That'd be a hell of a fight too.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like he's talented. Like, I like the way he fights, man. I think that guy's a legit fighter.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be a fight I take lightly and feel like I could go up and smash the guy, but I'd be interested in going up and challenging myself and seeing can I do it. There's also Makhmed Murdoch, who's not taking part in the tournament.
Oh yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so I feel like me and him would be a pretty big fight. Like, they really respect him over there. They think he's shit hot. I think the guy's kind of with Octagon because he's looking for money fight. Like, he's looking to make some money and looking for easy fights.
Yeah.
I think because of that, he might not want me and he might not fucking look at it. Like, especially if I go in and smash Karlos early. But I'd love to get that fight eventually. And
yeah, well, I'd be rooting for you because he knocked out my coach at Arizona Combat Sports, Trevor Smith, back in 2018. So I'd like a little revenge on your end for just for my sake there too. So
I'll do my absolute fucking best for you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, huge fights on the horizon, pretty much anywhere you look. So that's exciting.
I think that main thing, get in and smash Karlos, and afterwards there's a lot of options.
Well, I have no doubts you'll be ready on the mic. I mean, you're one of the more enjoyable fighters to listen to speak in the ring afterwards. So
thank you.
All right. Last but not least, do you have any sponsors, training partners, coaches, anybody who's really helped you for this camp you'd like to thank? I know you mentioned one teammate.
Loads, man. I'm like probably too many to even cover fully, but like I've been my main coach Narius, like he's a Lithuanian guy who's moved to Ireland about 20 odd years ago. He's an amazing human being, fucking incredible coach. I like every fucking bit of skill that I'm going to display. Like any improvement I've had in the last few years is through him. He's been a fucking incredible help to me. Obviously, look, John Kavanagh and Dave Roach run the gym. They're fucking incredible coaches as well. Davey Jones is my main pad man, and then I work with a guy, Owen Pluck, from the high performance, the boxing high performance team in Ireland as well. Owen's brought my striking on a lot. Like, if you look at that Pavel Langer knockout, that's all Owen's technique. So he's definitely helped me a shitload as well. In terms of sponsors, I have a couple of guys like Perform Nutrition, just fucking, they're great. They fucking cover me with everything. And I've Flow Recovery, a place that I just get, fucking sponsors. Anyway, a couple of sponsors as well. But overall, too many training partners and people to thank to actually have to name everybody. We'd be here all day. So just those lads mainly.
Yeah, 100%. Well, everybody make sure to tune in on Sunday, 12/29, Will Fleury versus Karlos Vemola, co-main event. You can watch on at DAZN or Octagon.tv, and also RTL Sport Plus, I believe. Big deal for the for Octagon.
They did that deal
That's
recently.
a massive,
and that's
massive.
what I mean. Like, look,
Yeah,
you're asking me about Bellator and the PFL and all that. There's the fucking perfect example, right?
Yeah.
These guys have gone and started generating the money, and they were doing that before they were paying anybody legit money. And now they're creating it. And look, you look at it, 60,000 fans in fucking Frankfurt that night. They're all paying decent money for tickets, so there's money there.
It's
now
coming
it's
in.
Okay, let's start sharing out the wealth here.
100%.
Right? It's a little bit of it, but they've started to generate it, so it's sustainable. You look at what's happening there, and you're going well, that's a real thing. There's going to be a promotion here in a couple of years, whether you're part of it. And they're gone into that German market. They're doing something fucking intelligent. You can see it. It's right. There's a business here. You know what I mean?
To me, it's clear who's the number 2 right now. I mean, I think PFL and Bellator has fallen, and Octagon is really, they're really pushing for that.
I remember, look, I'm surprised to hear you say it, but in a couple of years, I feel like that will be the case.
Yeah. I mean, again, nobody's selling out stadiums like they are. It's just a fact. On a consistent
But even
basis.
in Ireland, man, if you were to say Octagon here, people don't really know what you're talking about yet. But it's in a couple of years, man, you will.
100%.
And
especially
to me,
once
and
you
this
have
is
that
why
belt.
it means a lot to me. I'm going to be the first Irish Octagon champ. That's going to fucking leave a bigger legacy over time, because these guys are going to grow and grow and grow. So getting in there early and doing it, and obviously, look, I want to be a double champ within the promotion. I want to do some fucking very special things. But I think given the way this promotion is set up, over time that will become more significant.
100%.
So please God, anyway.
Yeah, building history.
Main thing is beat the shit out of the guy in front of you. So
yes, 100%.
I'll go in on Sunday and do that.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, everybody make sure to tune in on DAZN, Octagon TV, RTL Plus, wherever you're located, to watch Will fucking Fleury take out the champ, Karlos Vemola. And once again, thank you so much for joining me, and best of luck on Sunday.
Thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for the coverage.